Hey guys, Dr. Sabertooth here, and today I decided that I would make another Sonic video. Now, the reason why I haven't made one in a while is mostly just because I haven't had much ideas for one, but then I just randomly thought of this one, and it's a topic that I think would be fun to cover. Anyways, this video will be me basically ranking all of the stages in Sonic Adventure. Now, basically, what I'll be doing is I'll cover each stage from beginning to end, and then at the end, I will rank all of them for which stage I think is the best, and which one I think is the worst. Now, with that being said, sit back, enjoy, and let's start off with... Now, let me just state right now, this stage is probably one of my favorite in the entire game, purely based off aesthetics alone, because I've always had a thing for beach aesthetics, and this stage, it's just oozing with that, and it's also got that nice charm of classic Sonic's realistic environments with weird geometric shapes and architecture. It's just a great stage all around. Like, it's such an iconic stage. It's got so many great moments, like the whale chase. It's got the music, which is a phenomenal song, by the way. You've probably heard it a lot in my videos if you're a frequent viewer of my channel. Yeah, this stage, just all around one of my favorites in the entire Sonic series. However, my main criticism of this stage is that I think it's too short, to be honest. Like, I know it's the first stage, so it's gotta be pretty easy, but this stage is just way too short. I feel like it ends just when it gets going. And, you know, not to be super petty, but the song in the second half, while also pretty decently good, it's nowhere near as much of a banger as the first song. Now, similarly to Emerald Coast, this stage, in my opinion, has some great theming, because I've always also digged the aesthetic of valleys, like, with greenery and, like, mountains. It's just a nice aesthetic. This area has just some cool theming to it with the whole wind, and, of course, it's got the iconic tornado segment and the even more iconic sky segment towards the second half of the stage, which has probably one of my favorite songs in the Sonic series. I know I've been talking about music a lot, but that's one of the main things I love about these stages is the music. But overall, this stage has some pretty good layout. My only issue is that, similarly to Emerald Coast, this stage is very short. In fact, I think it might be even shorter than Emerald Coast. You know, it really kind of depends on how you play it, but still, most of the time, this stage ends way too quickly. And I've noticed that the sky, like, pathways are a bit jank at times. I know that's less of the stage itself and more of the game, but it's just a slight issue that I've noticed with playing this stage. But overall, it's a nice little stage. My main issue is, again, its length, and I think the first half definitely doesn't have as strong of a staying power as the second half. Now, y'all are probably gonna get sick of hearing this, but just like the last two stages, this stage also has some great theming to it, in my opinion. I've always digged casino aesthetics as well. It's just got such a nice aura to it, I guess, with all the colorful lights and, you know, just the look of it. But unlike the last two stages, I'm gonna be honest, the aesthetic doesn't save the stage. This stage kind of sucks ass. First of all, while I decently like pinball, it's far from my favorite thing to play. And this version of pinball, it's, well, not as bad as some other Sonic pinball related things. It's still not the funnest thing to play, and it mostly has to do with the camera angle. I don't really like how it's at a tilted angle. I mean, it kind of looks more accurate to actual pinball, but it's like, it's just, it's not my thing. And also, the sewer segment, it's just, it kind of sucks because it's the only part of this stage that's like an actual stage, really. And what sucks about that is that it's just kind of ugly looking, and I just don't like playing this stage. Pretty much any time I replay Sonic Adventure, I always skip this stage. Like, when I'm playing the stages again, because I honestly do not like this stage one bit. Now, as a 3D version of one of my favorite 2D Sonic stages, how does this fare in 3D? It kinda sucks, not gonna lie. I mean, it's really boring. That's basically it. And like, sure, if you know what you're doing, it doesn't take that long to get out of the ice cave, but it's just very dull. And like, granted, I know Ice Cap Zone's music from Sonic 3 was one of the songs that Sega technically just has all sorts of legal issues with, but what we got as a replacement was ambient ice music and the second rendition, which is a pretty nice song, but it's no replacement for the original Ice Cap Zone, not even by a long shot. And it's just kind of dull. And the snowboarding segment is kind of fun, but it's not worth it after having to go through the ice cave. It's just, and I don't like this stage. I'm sorry. Now, let me just get this first half out of the way. The first half of this stage fucking sucks, honestly. I hate the cart section. And this isn't even like the Ice Cap Zone thing where the first half is meh while the second half is good. This is like, the first half is utter dog shit while the second half is phenomenal. And that really sucks because, you know, the first half is, you know, the first half. So it should obviously not suck ass, but it does. And that all has to come down to just the control of the carts. It's just completely annoying, and you often fly off the carts and the tracks, and it's very easy to die in that section. But once you get to the second half, it is very much worth it, in my opinion, because this stage is very nice, honestly. Like, I love the aesthetic of it, and this isn't even one of those aesthetics I really like, so that's why I like the stage. No, this aesthetic, while it's not even close to my favorite aesthetics in real life, because this is just a nice look, I think, for Sonic. It's just a space castle, but it's like Disneyland, but in the Sonic universe, and it's just all nice looking. And you know what? I'll say it. It's nice to get a theme park level that doesn't have Eggman's face everywhere. Because sure, I like Sonic colors, and sure, Eggman Land and Sonic Unleashed has cool theming. It's nice to see what a standard theme park in the Sonic universe would look like, and this stage just delivers on that, and it's a very nice stage in my opinion. It's fun to play once you get past that utter dog shit cart section. So didn't know where to fit this, but the song is very good, by the way. My only other problem with this stage is that the good half of it lasts way too short, while the bad half lasts way too long. Now, this stage right here is just kind of badass, honestly. Like, it's got a really sick theming. I love the lights. The lighting is definitely my favorite. It's such a sick stage, and the enemies in this stage, I haven't really talked about it with the other ones because it really didn't add much to the other ones, but the enemies in this stage really add to the sort of vibe of being chased through a city by the police. Very niche vibe, I know, but it's actually a really cool, like, thing, you know? And this stage, like the music, the background lights, the constant blaring of police sirens from the enemies, it's really sick. This stage, it as a whole, is just badass. Like, I love the fact that this was the Sonic Adventure stage picked for Generations, even if I slightly like Emerald Coast just a little more. This stage is just, it's just really sick, honestly. My only downside is that I think the second half of the stage, it's alright. It loses that really sick theming that the first one has of running through a city at night while being, like, chased, you know? It kind of goes to a more calm, like, town, and that's not bad. It's just the first half of the stage has such a big impact that the second half just feels dull by comparison. Also, the song in the second half is just not nearly as catchy as the first half. Now, this stage is, well, I don't really have much to say about it, to be honest. I mean, it's kind of more or less just a more hard version of Windy Valley, if I had to say anything about it, which I like Windy Valley, but this stage, it's not as good, and that mostly has to do with the color palette, to be honest. It's purely a visual thing, and I could honestly see, based off of pure just length and difficulty, why people would prefer this stage to Windy Valley. But on a pure aesthetical thing, I just do not like this stage that much. I mean, I still think it's better than some of the other stages, but I don't know, it just kind of seems like they took Windy Valley and just washed out all the color to it. But it's got a cool, okay, I'm gonna be honest, I don't have much to say about this one. I like the volcano section, that part's cool. It's got good music in that part. The first half of the stage's song is kind of forgettable, but the second half is pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty basic, nothing much to it. Moving on. Now, as the penultimate stage of Sonic's campaign, this stage is pretty good. Not my favorite, but it's got some great theming. You just go around the egg carrier as you get constantly bombarded by enemies and obstacles. And this stage is definitely one of the most gimmick-central stages in the game. Not the most, that one is coming up later. But this one is pretty gimmick-central. Now, that's not inherently a bad thing. My only issue where the gimmick becomes a bad thing is when the ship tips over, because it goes from sort of fun to just all-around frustrating to control, and it's just not that fun in general. But what the stage lacks in, you know, fun, it makes up for in theming, because I've always liked Eggman, like, levels in Sonic games, even when they're, like, sort of difficult. I'm looking at you, Eggman Land from Sonic Unleashed. But this is just a nice stage all around. Far from my favorite, but it's pretty good. And now we come to the final stage of this video. And how is this stage to cap off all of these? It's, well, it's definitely something. That's definitely not to say it's bad, but it kind of sucks a little in my opinion. I mean, granted, I think the theming is fantastic. It fits the entire, like, theme of Sonic Adventure, and it's great in terms of theming, but it's not that fun to play, honestly. Like, this snake section kind of sucks, like, a lot, because you kind of glitch around on that due to the game's collision, and it's just slow, it's tedious. And then there's also the section with the light puzzle. It's a very slow stage, and it just doesn't feel built for Sonic. If this stage was in like any other character's campaign, it makes a bit more sense. But in Sonic stages, it's it's kind of bad, honestly. And then there's also the wall puzzle, which is, well, it's not hard, but it's very, it's just all around just kind of annoying, especially when you accidentally walk off the wall by like an inch and you fall to the very bottom of the floor. It's just, this stage is not very fun in my opinion. It's got way too many gimmicks. And there's there's a bit of sections where you gain speed and do some platform move, but for the most part, it's just gimmicks that slow down the entire stage. And while I'll admit there are a few moments I like I like the moment where you look over the canyon. It's got a nice look to it, but again, there's so many sections I don't like. Again, I will bring up this light puzzle. Sure, it's pretty easy, but it's kind of tedious to just stand around and shine lights at mirrors. And the snake puzzle, I've already talked about it. These gimmicks really bring down the stage for me. And in my opinion, this stage is just not fun to play. It's far from the worst, but it's not good either. Now, it's a shame we had to end on such a low note, but luckily, we can get onto the actual ranking of the stages themselves instead of talking about them. Now, of all of the Sonic Adventure stages, from worst to best, these are Casinopolis, Ice Cap, Lost World, Red Mountain, Skydeck, Twinkle Park, Windy Valley, Speed Highway, and finally, to the surprise of no one, Emerald Coast. Here's a quick little visual list in case if anybody wants to read through that. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and let me know any other Sonic games you would want me to try this with, because I honestly had a lot of fun making this video, and there's a lot of other Sonic games I feel like I could definitively rank the stages with. I just did Adventure because, well, despite me bitching about a lot of them being too short, too long, or having shitty segments in some of them, I actually really like the level lineup in Sonic Adventure, because despite some of them being really shitty designed ones and not fun to play at times, I love the theming of pretty much every stage in this game, and that's why I did Sonic Adventure. Plus, I already did a video on Sonic Generations, so I felt like giving another Sonic game some love. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. See you guys.